All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, last week was a pretty crazy week, and there was a lot of opportunities. So we're gonna go through each pair and kind of show what happened. Um, Probably just do one play, and then we're just going to say like, hey, potentially here, potentially here. But first, let's start off with our news. Right, first we have Monday. I mean, Monday. There's nothing going on. No folders. And then we have some red folders here, CPI folders at 8:30 a.m. Might get some crazy impulse, right? Around there. And then we got a couple folders on Wednesday as well. Retail sales, 8:30 as well. And then you have Thursday where you have GPP, um, EDP folder, and then Friday nothing. Okay, so it's pretty week. Considering you only have like really 2 days of like, well, 3 days, so might adjust over time. So first thing first, we have DXY. Okay, let me organize this because these are the main ones. Okay, so first thing first, we had DXY, and the last time we spoke, we mentioned this area and that how we wanted to distribute out of here, right? But as you can see, you had structure. You had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price broke, and we thought price was going to distribute out of here. So we were talking about this was our lower low, this was our lower high, right? And then we had price coming up, right, creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Really, that was our higher high, but we saw this as an opportunity, right? And what we were saying was, oh, price broke structure right here, higher high, higher low, higher high. And what had happened was, right, I'm gonna do the replay here, start now. What happened was that price didn't, it came back up in a counter trend, creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. It didn't create a new low. It went new higher high and it broke up. Okay. Hold on, I gotta deal with this. It's I had to take care of him. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so we were talking about that, right? So then we had a 15-minute break of structure there. Okay, so what do you have, right? We had the 15-minute break and went the opposite way. So what then happened was price came back up and went lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke to the upside, gave you another opportunity right here. Gave you an opportunity right here where you could have put your stop loss below this low, right? Take it to the high, be 1 and 3, so on and so forth, right? Boom. Ooh. Or secure your 1 and 3 and just hold it to whatever length, because who could have known that price would have just gone above and beyond, right? Taking a look at the daily, we do have some things. We have some equal highs. You could have targeted and so on and so forth, because, on the 4 hour, remember, we are bullish. So you could have targeted this high, this imbalance right there, which is in there. Boom. Until it distributes. And you just trail it. So then what price do? Prices came up in there and accumulated, just nice and beautiful, right, in that time frame. So, and it came back up here, accumulated again, and it just went to the moon after that. Just, it's amazing how that played out. Okay, so if we're looking at the daily now, okay, it came all the way up here, creating equal highs. Boom. Price created equal highs there. So potentially on the 4 hour, right? So you have what? Higher high, higher low, higher high. So you have a new 4 hour range. And then, right, we have this range right there. So you have the 4 hour range. Now we identify a new range, and we have some equal highs at the top. And what we can do is like, okay, well, we have some equal highs, some liquidity right here, right? So you got the liquidity sitting at the top. And now, right, what is price doing? So you have some structure here, right here. Price went higher high, broke structure, came back up, went higher high, higher low, higher high. So we had sitting at a range right here in our 1 hour range. So potentially, right, price, what we possibly can happen is within this range, right, price could potentially just come down, keep coming lower into this imbalance down here. Okay, that's what could potentially happen. But first, we have to break this structure. All right, so if price breaks this low down here, right, if price goes down, like that again, price goes down, probably potentially looking from here for some redistribution, potentially accumulate out here, or even down here, right, at a lower discount. But if price decides to reaccumulate at this low right now, then we probably potentially looking for these highs for a new target on DXY. Now, of course, if DXY do give us that, and it could do a 1 minute accumulation, you got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. If price breaks above this, then you potentially could take that to a new low. Okay, so what does that mean for a euro? Right, so what we do is we correlate DXY with Euro USD. Now, of course, right, we have some areas, interesting areas, beautiful plays that played out, beautiful opportunities overall in the past 2 weeks. And as you can see, we had some plays that we're calling out earlier. But as of right now, right, we like to look at the daily. You know that we are in a bullish structure on the daily time frame. We came into this imbalance, and we were talking about this area, how the top price can potentially accumulate out of here, creating a new high or going for a new high right there, right? Long-term opportunities. And then we have the 4 hour, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, broke structure, lower low, lower high, right? So right now we know this is our range at the current moment. So we were talking about an area, I think it was around this time, right, that potentially we will have some type of redistribution, right? If y'all remember, if y'all seen it, y'all seen this, we were talking about this, it was an imbalance, this was the point of interest, and so on and so forth. But what had happened was we didn't correlate, right? We didn't break down structure, went lower low, lower high, lower low. The price broke up, went higher high, higher low, higher high, and it broke structure again, right? And at that time, let's start new. At that time, what was it, right? What was it? What was the structure overall, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, price broke, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right? This was bearish action. Lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay. So when price did give that, well, hold on. Right. Yeah, but it was still lower low. It was lower low, lower high. So price broke structure out of this area, right? But prices overall bullish. So if you seen this, price just went through it. Or if you went in there and you played it, right? How could you have played that? Right? How could you have played this area? It didn't give it to us. Okay. What it did was it broke structure on a 15-minute, and I'll show you guys just like so. It broke structure on a 15-minute. Okay. And then it swept the liquidity that was within this area. Okay. And then of course you have your little tiny point of interest right there. Okay, cool. We identified that. How could we have played that? Well, you can clearly see, right, what price did. It came up, came out in a counter trend. Now, overall, the price was still bearish, but you can still follow the counter trend. It went higher high, higher low, higher high. Price broke. Okay, it came back up. You could have played here, or you could even play a little bit closer, right? And honestly, it just went from there. Okay. So, which is one of my points is it's so important to identify all the areas. Okay. It's important to identify continuous structure, because you don't know, price can just switch up on you, break structure, and continue on down, right? Overall. So let's go to current play. So when price did that, where is it? So when price did that right here, it just went down. It just kept going down from there, right? So where was it? Right here. Yep. Play that. Imagine you playing that one play and you just held that from there. Sir, like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, you when it went to a 1 in 28, just kept on trailing. Like, look, it gave structure as well. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And then went all the way down to a new lower low. Well, it went lower low, lower high, and then lower low. It just kept playing, right? You could have trailed it, put your stop loss above here, went into an up high, put your stop loss above here, right? And, you know, so on and so forth. Put your stop loss above here. You probably would have just got taken out just now on Euro. Okay. So, you know, a lot of opportunities, a lot of things that you could have played, right? This was the real play of the week, okay, in my opinion, on Thursday, and it just gave it to you, especially NFP, right? Swept all this liquidity, and then drop down. I actually was looking at this not too long ago. It accumulated below this low, right? And you can clearly see that, you know, it gave nice structure on this, okay? When actually it was a 1 minute accumulation, because that wasn't a 5-minute break. But here it gave that 1 minute accumulation, and then it came down and it just played. And it's funny, I was thinking about playing this, but you know, it wasn't my time. You got to stay within our time frame. So, what I do want to say is, right, we know this is our range. I'm gonna mark it out for you guys. Currently, this is our current range on the 4 hour, and you can see on the 1 hour, right? Broke structure, went lower low, lower high, lower low. This just broke structure, right? That just broke structure. And what we want to see is potentially a 5 minute to a 1 minute accumulation within this area. Okay, so what we can do is mark out the last push down. You can mark out the imbalance. Okay, it doesn't have to go all the way down. It doesn't, right? You got the imbalance, you got the liquidity sweep, and so on and so forth. So essentially, right, price hit either 1A. And it's funny, we were talking about this imbalance. How price wanted to come in there. What could happen is that we're looking for an accumulation out of this area. Oh, not clicking. We're looking for accumulation out of this area. If not, price might come down, come back up, and distribute out of there, right? Creating a new low. And if not, right, looking for accumulation out here to come higher, you distribute, create a new low, right? That's what we would be looking for on Euro USD. But we'll follow DXY on that one. Okay. And yeah, we'll see. GJ, right? So we know we're bullish. AF, higher high, higher low, higher high. And back down, accumulate down here, and it's pushing up for a new high. Okay. So on the 4 hour, what do we have? Okay, we have our high, our low, then price create a new higher high at the moment. And then around here, it just came back down and accumulated to the high. Okay. And now we're just waiting for price to take that high, and we'll see if it does. Maybe tomorrow, potentially. So at this time, the first play that we called last week is we wanted to see price come into here and accumulate. And what had happened was that I think it was right here, right? So in this area, we were talking about, oh yeah, price could potentially accumulate out of here, and we'll look for a nice accumulation play. But you can clearly state that price was in a bearish movement, right? You can't deny that. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Came in there. You can clearly see, oops. When price came back in there for London session, right? It wasn't London session, but it went lower, okay? It went higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. It broke. You probably would have took this, got smacked out, right? Cool, it happens. Right? Create a new higher high, create a new higher low, and it gave you another opportunity. Boom, take this, boom, put the stop loss above there. That's a quick, easy 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 4. Easy at that, okay? It gave you an opportunity right here. This was the play. But here's the thing, right? Yeah, we saw that. And what's really interesting is how price gave us a clean op. Let's see. Right here. So you can clearly see that the 15-minute did accumulate, okay? It gave you the opportunity right here. It broke structure. It broke structure, came down to here, accumulated, right? And I don't want to show you guys what had happened. So when price came up here, it broke structure, okay? You probably would have seen this. It went lower low, lower high, lower low, and price broke. Now, you could have played this. Boom, put your stop loss below the low, and just run with it, right? Which it did run, right? So honestly, that was a clean op, right? And it kept accumulating and accumulating. That was the play that created a new high based off the overall 4 hour, right? And if you guys don't see it, right, with lower low, lower high, lower low, break, and all we're doing is following counter trend, lower low, lower high, lower low, broke structure, tapped right there, and you just play it. Of course, I didn't play that, but yeah, it was a nice opportunity, and it just pushed up and kept continuing pushing up. And now, if you were in that trade, right, beautiful play. So at the current moment, um, we are still bullish on this 4 hour, okay? And we take a look at the 1 hour structure, you can clearly see we have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price did break here, right? If you're not sure about structure, you can clearly see high, low, break, okay? Now, one thing I will say is that we do have an imbalance here. And you gotta remember, right? Hold on, wait, let's break it down all the way. And yeah, lower low. Yeah, okay, yeah, lower low. And now it's coming back up in the counter trend. So we do have an imbalance there. We do have our point of interest. And we did sweep liquidity right there. So what potentially could happen is, right, we might be looking for a 5 minute, 1 minute distribution, which it did give our high, our low, our high. Oh, so it wasn't a break of structure right there. That wasn't a break. It wasn't a break of structure. Now for the 1 minute, yeah, it didn't break structure. So yeah, this might still continue to blast up. It looked like a break of structure, but it's not. Okay. So yeah, what I want to see is gold. Gold is a new world that I never thought it would be a new world. Okay. Yeah, it went to a new high, and yeah, it's blasting off. But I would love to talk about our play that we mentioned. Okay. So we don't even need to talk about that. Okay. 4 hour. What we were talking about last week. We were talking about what? Price broke, went lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke, came up to a new high, right? That's what we identified. Okay. So after that, the fact, okay, what had happened, which where was it? Oh yeah, I think it was right here in this time. Was it? Yeah, it was right there. So at this time, we were talking about this imbalance last week and how price could potentially distribute out of here. And I kind of just want to show you guys exactly what had happened. Okay. We had the 15 minute here, right? And we were talking about, oh yeah, if it comes into here and it play out this imbalance, then that's where we'll take it at. But you gotta also understand, like, what are we doing on the 1 hour? What are we doing on the 4 hour? Right? We understand we're bullish on the 1 hour, 4 hour, okay? And we got structure going on here, right? We had lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke up, right? I really want to say that's a 1 hour structure because this is our low point, this is our high point, and it really didn't clean up there. Okay. Get it. Get it now. All right. So yeah, it didn't clean up there, right? So then we had our 15 minute. So what is our 15 minute doing? So we had lower low. This was a highest point from that low, and then we had lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke up. So already price is looking like we're pushing up. Now if price did break in here somehow, right, then that's when you'd be like, okay, well, let's take a short here and so on and so forth. Now, 1 minute didn't even give you a break, and it just kept going up and up and just kept pushing up from there. Look at structure. It broke right there, but you gotta remember 15 minute just broke structure. Okay, 15 minute just broke structure, and that's not our point of interest, right? Um, we don't want to place things like that, okay? So it just ran through and blasted off. Okay. Um, there's multiple plays here, but I really want to talk about the overall. Okay. Just a lot of opportunities every week. So let's get to it. So yeah, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay. So we might be looking for the potential distribution above the highs. Okay. If you have the 4 hour, if you have the 4 hour, right, we know that we're bullish. Okay. We just swept the highs of many people stop losses, right? We just took out a lot of losses here. So honestly, this is our training range at the current moment on the 4 hour. You take a look at the 1 hour, okay? Lower low, lower high, lower low. Well, snap. On the 1 hour, we have what? Higher high, higher low, higher high, price broke, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, in a broke structure. Getting higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now we are pushing up. Okay, so what we're looking for is distribution above the highs. Okay, distribution above the highs. That's what we're looking for, and it looks like we're already starting some type of distribution play here. Okay, so yeah, we keep on looking, keep searching, and yeah, let's see if what we want to see is potential accumulation out here. Keep on going higher, right? If not, right, it might just blast down, break structure, come back up, and distribute. Right, taking out all this liquidity down here, right, imbalance. It might just come for that. So we just don't know. So I want to give y'all a point. So my point is right here, this low. This is my point of interest. This imbalance is actually my point of interest as well. So if it gives it, okay, I might take it. Okay. So that's what I'm interested in. That's why I want to see. That's how I want to visualize it. All right. Right now it's doing this thing until I give it till like London session, maybe potentially New York session, but this is my area of interest. I might just accumulate and just keep on going up from there, honestly. So yeah, that's silver. Gold. These next two I won't be going over too much. I really do want to show you guys one play that I was interested in, which was around here. Okay. All right, this is the area that I was really interested in, and I was like, man, right? It's like, man, I really want to take this play because it broke structure and it looks so nice, and it just looks nice overall. But like, let's take a look. Let's take a look overall, right? So we know that in the structure on the bar, we had higher high, higher low, higher high. So this thing was bull overall on the 4 hour, okay? And then on the 1 hour, what do we have? Yeah, structure higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price broke, and overall, this was still bearish at the current moment. Okay, even the 15 minute, you can see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, there was nothing bullish about this whatsoever. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about a 5 minute here. He said, "Oh yeah, well, the price did accumulate here. This is not accumulation, right? I've been doing a lot of studying this week, and I just want you guys to see what I see because it took a while for me to actually click on this, and it's kind of unfortunate. And so, all right, it took me for a while for me to click at this moment, and I'm kind of glad that I made this breakthrough because now I see the market a little bit different. I might not catch every single trade or, in everything. I might not be extremely profitable, but at least as long as I'm properly climbing up over the amount of trades by protecting my account, then I'm good. Okay. But I just want to show you my breakthrough. Okay. So here we have lower low, lower high, lower low. Now at the time we were talking about lower low, lower low, and so on and so forth, right? High, low, high, and it broke structure. Now the thing is about this is that was just a 1 minute accumulation. Okay. What do you have? Lower low, lower low. Price did break. And then what did it do? It came back in the counter trend. Didn't even break structure. It just broke structure there. And then you see that? What are you supposed to do with that? Right? Which is why it's so important to make sure you understand market structure. It's so important to really study and really get into like, oh, okay, what is this doing? What is this doing? What are we doing? Why is it going this way? Why is it doing that? Right? We got to understand, right? This, of course, price, we don't understand what price is doing. All we have is patterns, right? We have structures and patterns that we see every single day, and that's all we can play off of. And it clicked to me. It finally clicked to me. I'm like, oh my God. At first I thought it was the real click. And then the second click was the reality of like, oh my God, this was never a break. A structure on the 5. It was a break structure, but it was awful. What? The 1 minute. Okay. Very, very, very clear of that. So we seen this, but I'm gonna show you guys something that really, really can intrigue you. Right? You saw this, right? We saw this as a break structure. What do you have? Right? You got the 1 minute coming up in the structure. Well, what do you have? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, break. And then what do you got here? Oh, wow. And then from there, you could have just took it to the low and you'd be done for the day. But I'm just saying, like, that's why it's so important to like identify your structure, identify your areas, right? And then prices dropped from here, right? Boom, and it just slapped that TP, right? Even I think it even went lower than that. It just went lower, and then yeah, it went down low, and then yeah, your TP could have been if you held it 16 and 6, pretty good. But look at this one. Right? What did price do? It came back down to this imbalance. And it's a balance. What do you have? Why did it react the way it did? Why did it accumulate? Why did it do what it do? What do you have? It went lower low, lower high, lower low. It broke structure, right? It didn't come back. It didn't give you the evidence that you wanted to see. Okay. Now you had multiple opportunities. I'm gonna just mark them in the blue box. You have one opportunity, and then you had another opportunity right here. Right? It just kept going and going and going and going, and it just created a new. It's about to create a new high. It's the amount of it really is the amount of patience, right? The amount of patience and understanding the market, understanding like, okay, price can potentially go this way. Now, of course, market is not always going to follow the market structure. Prior market might just break down and just swipe you out. It's never going to be perfect. It's all about you protecting your account, right? Once you get a foundation set, ready to go, then that's when you be like, all right, we're gonna follow that foundation. If I have a 50% chance of winning this trade, what is the probabilities of me being profitable to a new era? Okay. We just don't know at the end of the day. So I'm not gonna go into 0 30, but you can see it went lower low, lower high, lower low, price broke, came back down on a counter trend over here. Say if you didn't catch that. It went lower low, lower high, lower low, price broke right here, and it boom, tap, boom, gone. There's your opportunity right there. I'm just saying. I don't know what to else to like say about that besides, hey, just really studying, keep studying. I'm still studying. There's always something to learn. Okay, we did just sweep this high, which is magnificent because sweeping that high, we might get a nice little drop. Okay, so understanding this is the new 4-hour structure. Let me put my demonstration. Let me mark this. There. This is a new higher. This is the new structure here. Okay. On the 4-hour, the 1 hour, you can see we do have this right there, right? And I won't make this our low 1 hour range. So what I potentially want to see is that price. This shoe is above the high, which it looks like it's about to give you that higher high, higher low, higher high. Price breaks below here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take that short it until you probably get some type of accumulation out of here, right? You got this imbalance that can play off and accumulate from there, okay? And it could potentially even go lower, fill this gap in, right? Market always have to fill that gap, regardless, okay? Even if it's later, maybe if it was a couple months, it always fills it later, okay? So that's what I'm looking at for silver. Now Nas gave it to us. Okay. Earlier last week when we were discussing, we were talking about price breaking this structure and how we wanted to see some type of distribution out of here. Right. It gave that clean, right? Break a structure, boom. And we wanted to see some type of distribution. Now, of course, right, we wanted to know what is our structure here? What is our 4-hour main, right? So we had lower low, lower high, lower low, price broke, went higher high right there, right? Higher low, and then new higher high, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, and it did break. Okay, it did break right there. Sorry. So it went, yep, it went higher high, higher low, higher high. Price did break from right there. So then that's when we were talking about, all right, well, we want to see some type of distribution out of here. We want to see some type of play. We don't know what, but price broke right there, and then it went higher high, higher low, and it did break structure. Now in here, I don't know where we played at, but we played somewhere. And it did go in our direction for a little bit, and then after that, the fact it just didn't continue to play. So really, right, understanding structure. So if we take a look, right, say if you saw this, you're like, all right, it broke structure, now we're following the counter trend. Went higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price broke, and you probably wouldn't be like, all right, I'm gonna play this play and see what happens, and if it does, I need to change this. Matter of fact, I need to put this up here. This is that. Say if you did this, you're like, all right, well, price gave me the evidence I wanted to see, and let's see if it plays out. Now if you shorted that, it almost gave you a 1 in 3. All right, that was a pretty clean play, right? Could have had it, but it just didn't, right? So but then what do you have above it? You have what? our high, our low, our high, break. Breaker structure right there. And then as soon as it came in there, you could have been like, all right, well, there's another opportunity. Check the account. Let's see what happens. Boom. It dropped. And, you know, yeah, that was the play, boy. If you played that, nice. Okay. That was a clean opportunity last week when we called it. So yeah, that's pretty clean here. As of right now, the 1 hour went lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, break. Okay, so I really want to identify this as our range. Okay, a 1 hour range. There. One thing I would like to say is we did just have a 4 hour break. Okay, I just want you to remember that. Right. So really, if we had a 4 hour break and the 1 hour break right here. Okay. So what we're looking for is accumulation plays. We want to look for a 5 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute play here. Right. It could even possibly be a 1 minute play. It went lower low, lower high, lower low. Price can give you a 1 minute play and give you that opportunity. So if price close above here, it can come back down here, reaccumulate, and just keep going. Right? We just don't know. But honestly, we'll see what it could potentially do. I do want to see it take these highs. If you guys can't see it, these equal highs right there. Why is it not grabbing? All right, these equals highs. I do want to see that get taken out potentially, right? If not, then it might just come lower, accumulate, and continue what it is doing. But that's the opportunities that we see for as a current overall at the moment. A lot of opportunities, a lot of plays that could be played. Euro USD. I was talking about this earlier. Oh man, they gave it. I was waiting for some type of distribution out of here. I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to play this play, and yeah, really, now it's just waiting for price to reaccumulate and give another opportunity. Okay, so yeah, I talked about this already. So yeah, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, I gave y'all some knowledge, a different view on the market because in reality, you go on the internet, you go on YouTube, even though you're watching this on YouTube, you just see the same thing over and over again. You don't see plays like this. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I am, then I am. It is what it is. But I don't see nobody trading like this. I just don't. Nobody trades like this at all. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, y'all, that is it. Right. Please, if you took this GJ trade, just know that this thing is still bullish and it's accumulating at the current moment. You can clearly see all the structure. You see the counter trend right now, right? Went lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So honestly, I mean it's playing, I guess, but like it's too choppy for me. So it would have been really nice if this had broke, but it didn't. So I'll just be wary of that. If it does give a break, then I'll be looking for some nice, really nice sales. Okay. So yeah, that's it, y'all. Be blessed, stay safe. Okay. I think I want to be that model. Be blessed, stay safe, and remember, there's always opportunities in the market, right? You just got to be patient for them. And that's it. How y'all like that? If y'all like it, put in the comments if you made it this far. You know, and yeah, that's it. Okay, peace.